history of the Pacific Islands we're talking about have been involved and engaged through the Commonwealth. There's greater authority in those islands that come out of London than there seems to come out of Canberra. And yet, if you go back, 100 years or whatever, the authority was actually in Australia, in Sydney. Britain set its authority base in Sydney. So we've lost that kind of that credibility in a lot of ways. And you throw money into it, well, on it goes.
Yeah, but you have to understand the politics of many of the island states, and it's true of Papua New Guinea as well. It's big man politics. And I remember being in the Solomons at the time that Michael Somare refused to come into Australia because he said he'd been insulted by being asked to take his sandals off going through an airport. And he arrived in Honiara. And the plane that I was on coming back from the Western Province had to circle while his plane landed. And the feeling was very, very strong that you have to respect the leader and then do your negotiations. But in the case of the Solomons, you've got the problem with the current Prime Minister, who has been at odds, who has been at odds with Australia since John Howard, and wanted to throw Australia out of the operation, of course, that we went into to quell the riots. So it's looking at who are the people who the people of the Solomons are going to respect, or the people of Fiji respect with their Ratu system, and the important people within those societies are the ones that we have to discuss what's good for them and what's good for their countries. And I think some of that is just missing out of the current equation. I mean, how confusing must it be? We've got the Foreign Minister of the Communist Party of China, Mr. Wang, arriving to say, well, China's going to solve all your problems. And we've got Senator Wong, who comes from as Foreign Minister for Australia, saying, well, Australia, we're going to give you some more money and really stick with us. So I think it's a much deeper problem than simply this war between the two, fighting over the spoils of what are nation states, with people and customs and cultures that need to be respected and dealt with because of what they are and and the importance of the leadership within those individual states, and particularly with the Solomons, recognising that there are others who are also important individuals who don't want the Chinese there, desperately don't want them there. Will there be a change of government next year? Will that change the outlook? So there are a lot of things to be looked at in those issues.